Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Did you know that the creator of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, sold 500,000 Ether to Mike Novogratz, billionaire Mike Novogratz, back in 2015? Oh, he sure as heck did. And so you look at what the SEC is doing in their action against Ripple, claiming that Ripple sold XRP as an unregistered security. Does it start to sound even more like selective action, selective enforcement? Well, I'll tell you what, in my humble opinion, the answer is yes. And if your answer is no, then you're wrong, damn it, and you can get out. I suspect that we here in the XRP community, we're probably going to be more or less unanimous on that point, though. I'm willing to bet, more or less there. And so pro XRP attorney John Deaton has spoken out on this exact topic. He also has asked a question having to do with Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman. So Jay Clayton being a former SEC chair, Bill Hinman, he's a former director who certainly had a conflict of interest, I would say, in declaring that ETH itself is not a security. Certainly, I don't know how you could deny it. It looks like a very clear conflict of interest at a minimum, even if he didn't do anything illegal. I'm not alleging he did anything illegal. I'm just saying conflict of interest at a minimum. So John Deaton was asked, what would it take to go after these guys? Like, what would it take for these guys to actually be prosecuted in some sense, to have some sort of suit brought against them? Attorney John Deaton answered that, and I hadn't seen that topic answered by him before, so I'm going to go ahead and share that in this video. I think you'll find it fascinating. Plenty to talk about. But before we go any further, I do want to be clear that I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos as a hobby. It's very fun. And I talk about XRP and Ripple and cryptocurrency in such videos. It's a killer time here, and I do appreciate all the support, but I just want to make sure everyone knows that that is all that it is. I don't want anyone to think I'm someone or something that I'm not. I'm just a dude on the internet named Moon Lambeau, which is the stupidest name in the entire XRP community, and I'm proud of that, by the way. So take a look at this headline. I don't know that I covered this on my channel, but I was aware of this. I may have talked about it. If I did, it probably would have been brief. But look at this from Decrypt. This is from November 16th, 2020. Vitalik Buterin sold 500,000 Ethereum to Mike Novogratz for 99 cents each. Whew, I'd love to have that deal now, man. That was back in the day, though. And so the piece begins, here's a crypto tidbit for you. In late 2015, Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin sold 500,000 Ethereum, ETH, to Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz in an over-the-counter transaction. He sold each ETH for just 99 cents. Now, mind you, they say Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz. Back then, he was just Mike Novogratz. Galaxy Digital, he had not founded that yet. I can't remember exactly when he did, but I want to say it was like the worst timing on the planet. Nothing against him at all. It's just, it is what it is. But I could be wrong, but I think that he founded it. If it wasn't late 2017, it was early, maybe more likely early 2018, and the market tanked. And I remember seeing videos where he's like, yeah, well, we still think we're right, but we sort of got the timing wrong, right? I don't know. I remember saying something to that effect in at least a video that I'd seen from him way later on. And so this is an individual that purchased from Vitalik Buterin a whole bunch of ETH. Now, mind you, that Ripple has never sold a single XRP to a retail investor. Now, there were, in the early days, there were instances where they were doing like free airdrops, which is functionally different. But in terms of actually selling XRP, no, they never did that. It was always to businesses, whether it's financial institutions or exchanges or this or that. It was, it was never to the retail speculator. And here you have this sort of infraction, if you will, Vitalik Buterin selling to an individual Mike Novogratz. And yes, fine, he's a billionaire, but still, like, I mean, even if you call it an accredited investor, he's selling to an individual here. I'm just saying, compare that to what Ripple has done. Anyway, Novogratz explained how the sale happened during an interview with YouTube channel Nuggets News. And he said that he met up with college roommate Joseph Lubin to discuss purchasing 25% stake in his venture studio Consensus. The firm, incidentally, also funds an editorially independent Decrypt. Novogratz was inspired by Lubin's belief in Ethereum. He was sold on the idea that it could be used to disrupt a variety of industries, but when buying a stake in Consensus became more complicated than Novogratz initially thought, he figured he should at least buy some Ethereum. I was at least intelligent enough to say I'm not leaving until I buy some of the ethers, he said. At the time, Ethereum was tricky to buy since few exchanges, particularly in the United States, supported it. It was trading at around 95 cents at the time. Can't believe it. And it's broken $2,000 now. Crazy. Anyway, Novogratz said, I called him, Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin, up. I had met him once at a dinner. He remembered me but didn't know me. He thought it was good for the community to have a Wall Street guy buying, so I bought 500,000 Ether at 99 cents, maybe 98 cents. He changed the price on me at the last minute from 98 to 99 cents because I had waited too long and the price went up. And then he added, then I really became much more of a crypto maniac. And so there you go, that did happen. So I knew that John Deaton was looking into something having to do with Vitalik Buterin and ETH when I saw this the other day. Here's a tweet from attorney John Deaton who wrote, can someone please find the date, and then parentheses he wrote year, that Vitalik got the exchanges to stop trading ETH? I know I've tweeted it out that it happened, but I can't recall if the date or year was known. Thank you. And so obviously, I mean, to me it seems obvious. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed obvious to me that, that would indicate some sort of power or control over Ethereum, and indicating, if anything, some level of centralization. And so not that John thinks that Ethereum is a security. He does not think that. He's proverbially stated that. I don't think that either. But if you're just comparing what happened with Vitalik and the Ethereum Foundation and Ether to what Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson and Ripple and XRP, what's going on over in that little ecosystem. It's the case that there's a lot that happened with Ether that makes it look more centralized than what has happened with Ripple and XRP, yet Ether gets the free pass. And so somebody actually responded with what Vitalik was looking for there, and then John Deaton wrote, man, you guys are good. Indeed. So, I'm telling you, John, like I told you before the other day, the community's got your back. That's for damn sure. You got the community's back, obviously, but I'm just saying, the XRP community is a hell of a community, the best community in all of crypto, and there isn't even a close second. I firmly believe that. And so then there is this thread. And he highlighted this video, and it actually started out with that asshat Jay Clayton talking about how basically every ICO, his opinion is that it's a security, and maybe most of them are. I'm not here to talk about that in this video. Setting that aside, it then flipped to this video. I'm not going to play it in my video, but it showed Vitalik Buterin talking about the initial funding basically for Ethereum and how they were selling it and this and that. I've mentioned the video in previous Moon Lambo Hot Jams, and he even compared it to the distribution to in part to what Ripple has done, which was kind of interesting. Still, they get the free pass though from the SEC. And so John Deaton wrote the following: what Vitalik Buterin is doing in the below video is much more of an offering of a security than any specific sale of XRP that I'm aware of, although I'm not aware of all XRP sales. The transfer of 500,000 ETH sold to Mike Novogratz that Vitalik publicly stated saved the Ethereum Foundation, which is a common enterprise, he writes in parentheses, is also a clearer example of the sale of an unregistered security than what is alleged in the SEC complaint versus Ripple. Think about it. Do you see the hypocrisy here? And he's so artfully highlighting this. Well done, John Deaton. How the hell is the Ethereum Foundation not a common enterprise, but Ripple is? That does not make sense. I mean, it should be much more clear comparatively, if you're going to say that one's more clear than the other, that Mike Novogratz was relying on the Ethereum Foundation to increase the market price of ETH, right? Isn't that much more clear? I would argue yes. I absolutely would. John continues now. Let's assume XRP, just like ETH, was a security between 2013 to 2017. Why the selective enforcement? Exactly, that is the question. And even if we just give them that XRP was sold as though it was a security from 2013 to 2017, it sure as hell isn't today. And if the SEC were just going after it in that frame, like from 2013 to say it was 2017, I would have much less of a problem with them than I do today. Maybe I'd still have a problem with them, but I'd have much less of a problem with them, because the idea that XRP today is a security is pure and utter nonsense. It's like, it's offensive they think that we could be so stupid to believe that crap. I'm not even sure they believe their own crap. I really don't think they do. I think they're just making an argument. It seems like a power grab and a money grab. And that's just the optics of it. That's what it looks like to me here. But I definitely could never get on board with the idea that XRP today is a security. Not a chance in hell. So if they weren't pushing for that narrative, I wouldn't be as upset. I would say that my biscuits would not be as burnt, let's say. John continues, many have argued that it's all about the escrow. And then he writes, I agree that the escrow is a relevant factor, but the escrow doesn't turn it into a security. Yeah, absolutely, it does not. And I had a question about that, which you'll see a little bit later in the thread, because I was like, wait a minute. I just had a question mark over that. I was like, so you agree that the escrow is a relevant factor in what way? And that Ripple's holdings somehow would factor into something from a legal perspective. And he did clarify, which I'll get to. But anyway, for now he continues. When this case was filed against Ripple, individuals at the SEC knew that it would face problems and hurdles prosecuting this case. They also knew XRP holders would be greatly harmed and that the exchanges would likely delist or suspend. Grunfest warned, by the way, Grunfest, he's a former SEC chair. So anyway, Grunfest warned the mere filing of the complaint would cause catastrophic economic harm. Was the filing of the complaint itself the goal? Was the complaint the weapon? See, and those are legitimate questions because I don't know how they can believe what the hell they're arguing. And so it goes back to what I stated a moment ago. Is this a money grab? Yeah. Is this a power grab? Is it both? And if it's not, what the hell is going on? Like, what are the other reasons they would even do this? I don't know. There could be some inside baseball stuff that we've not yet uncovered, but it's garbage, whatever it is. And then John wrote, the relevant question isn't who will be harmed by the mere filing of the complaint. The relevant question is who benefited by the mere filing of the complaint causing the harm. It's not that someone was against XRP per se, but favored or promoted Bitcoin and ETH and question mark, right? And so I wrote in response to that great thread, which it was. Could you expand upon how Ripple's escrowed holdings of XRP are legally relevant to this case? Is the large quantity of XRP held, as some have asserted, a legal problem or just poor optics? Curious on your take. Thanks, John. And he wrote back. He said, the escrow is irrelevant to whether XRP is a security. Ripple makes the analogy to oil and says it makes no difference how much oil Exxon owns. You could sell 10 tokens as a security, but if the escrow has 45 million XRP, would the SEC sue? I don't know, but Bitcoin/ETH were favored. And then he wrote, I meant it's potentially a relevant factor in the SEC's motive and explained the selective enforcement and why Vitalik and ETH get a pass. So just to be clear, it's not that he thought that it had, was an indication of whether or not Ripple should be gone after from a legal perspective. He's just saying that that's a relevant factor for why the SEC would push for it anyway. And then he said, Grunfest believed that Bitcoin very early on was being used as a security, but ETH and Bitcoin get clarity while Ripple and XRP get sued. Indeed, bravo, good sir. It's exactly what happened, and he's just bringing the fire, continuing to call this all out. And so then there was also this. Now, I highlighted this on the video, so I'm just going to be real brief with this before heading into the final point of the video, which is, what about the asshat Clayton and Bill Hinman? Like, is there a chance that they could actually be legally in trouble? Could some sort of government agency go after them and take them to court, and there's potential penalties or jail time, this or that? I'm going to get to that, but I want to make sure you understand this first. Bill Hinman, who was Director, Division of Corporation Finance, on June 14th, 2018, before he left the SEC, he wrote a piece where he wrote, I'm not going to cover this whole, it's on your screen if you want to see this. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but just the beginning part. He wrote, I do not see a central third party whose efforts, this is talking about Bitcoin, efforts who are a key determining factor in the enterprise. The network on which Bitcoin functions is operational and appears to have been decentralized for some time, perhaps from inception. Applying the disclosure regime of the federal securities laws to the offer and resale of Bitcoin would seem to add little value. And putting aside the fundraising that accompanied the creation of Ether, based on my understanding of the present state of Ether, the Ethereum network and its decentralized structure, current offers, and sales of Ether are not securities transactions. So pause. Why are we setting those initial transactions aside, but you're not setting aside initial transactions for Ripple? Why aren't you doing that? That doesn't make sense. And then if you go through like your little litmus test you're citing here effectively, what functionally is the difference today in XRP in terms of centralization compared to the centralization of ETH? Because you yourself, Mr. Hinman, had decided that that is a factor in determining whether or not something is being sold as a security or is a security, right? You yourself have stated that. And so we also know that Hinman, and I covered this in previous videos, that he was working at a law firm that had an interest in the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. And then he worked at the SEC, and then he got paid, John Deaton cited this, $15 million from his law firm while he was working at the SEC, way more than he made from the SEC. While he was at the SEC, though, he basically right here, you can see it, he's given the green light to ETH, which benefits his law firm he used to work at. And then when he stopped working at the SEC, he went to go work for the law firm again. Conflict of interest much? Seems like it. So somebody asked Mr. Deaton the following. Mr. Deaton, given the information being given in Clayton he wrote him and he means Hinman, with their colorful connection with said companies not assigned security, can retrospect criminal cases be brought against them for conflict of interest? John Deaton responded with the following. An IG investigation, Attorney General investigation, or a U.S. Attorney for SDNY investigation or NYAG investigation, or possible congressional investigation is the only way any consequences will happen. A civil suit against them personally, and the SEC would likely side with them. Yeah, so it's probably not surprising to hear that last part, but if they did anything wrong, and if any justice is going to be served if they did something wrong, and I'm not alleging they did anything legally wrong, I don't know. I just think that there's at a minimum conflict of interest here. But if they did, the only way you're going to get any justice is to have one of those entities cited right there actually go after them. And what are the odds there? And is there any evidence? And did they actually do anything legal or wrong? So a lot of question marks there. I don't know. But that's where we're at right now. So I'll wrap it up here. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.